Welcome to Let's Have a Cuppa. My name is Anna Knob, and each week we sit down with one of my very cool friends to chat about what makes them cool. And as you can maybe hear, most of us have tiny humans, so just prepare yourself for interruptions. This week I have my friend Sydney on. She is a wife, a mother, and has devolved from cool kid to homeschooling homesteader mom. It's our running joke. Sydney, welcome.
Hi, thank you for
Hi.
having me. I feel
Of
I
course,
feel so special.
you are special because you are one of my longest friends that I've had on the podcast, at least so far. I've known you longer than Ethan. We started out way back in high school. Did you switch in high school? Is that
I
when you moved?
did. I came to Boone for 11th and 12th grade.
And we played field hockey together.
Yes.
Can you believe that we were once athletes?
One time, a long time ago. I could I could run and not be winded.
Oh my goodness, honestly. But you
I
are
lie, I
now,
lie. I didn't run and I still got winded back then,
for
and
sure.
Fry always yelled at me for it, but it's fine.
Yeah. But you are now a mother of how many children again?
Four.
And
Four.
what are their names in order? Because I never get it right.
Ava, she's 11. Estella, we call her Ella, she's 7. Oliver's 3, and he'll be 4 next Wednesday. And Parker is 1.
Parker is 1. I remember when she was such a tiny baby. I feel like I always forget Oliver because
For Oliver.
because your last 3 are so close in age there. But we love Oliver. He and Eleanor are besties.
hmm
They were so cute. But a few years ago, uh, you got into homeschooling. Tell me how that happened again, because I know that I was part of this, but I don't remember.
So, back when, COVID, COVID started, back when, aka just I lied, just 3 years ago. Um, it was so we got shut down, and they did this whole virtual thing that I feel was horrendous. I know they did the best that they could, but it was hard, and Ava was struggling really, really bad. So once that year ended, I think I started talking with Jess Sinelli about it. Because she's homeschooled Shane for a while now. And she always was like talking about homeschool. I was like, oh no, but I was like, and I talked myself down. I was like, I don't got a teaching degree. I can't do this.
You for
How am I
sure
supposed
always
to teach
did.
my kids? So it went back and forth, and it was really when the kids went back to school. They were supposed to go back that fall, and Ella would have been starting kindergarten. That they were doing virtual, and I just was like, nope, I'm not gonna do it. I can't have 2 kids on a computer with 2 smaller kids in the back. No, well, 1 at the time. Parker wasn't here yet. So I talked with my husband, and he was like, if that's what you want to do. And I was like, okay. So I'm pretty sure it was all summer long. I'm like messaging you. So what if I have to do this? And what do I, and you're like, Sydney, just don't. You don't got to really do anything. Just,
Well, I mean, you do, Sydney. You do have to teach your kids.
okay, teach your kids, but you don't like, I was like highly overthinking it
Yeah.
for a 4th grader.
Yeah.
You're like, just start easy,
Yeah.
just simple and easy. And you gave me very, very many resources. And here we are.
Yeah. And I think for you, one of the hardest things was transitioning from you didn't have to do a 6-hour school day.
That was hard because I'm like, how am I going to occupy her and keep her like for 6 hours and think of 6 hours worth of work? And I think that was my biggest struggle, was knowing that I could do her school day in like 2 hours.
Yeah. And then doing that times at the time, 2.5 kids.
hmm
Um, and then once you kind of started to see that, you were like, oh, I can do this. And as you said, you're friends with Jess. I think my favorite part of this is we were already friends, but then you started connecting with my other friends.
Yeah.
And now we have this great little friend loop with like Jess and Melissa
Melissa. I
and
love Melissa.
Rachel. Yeah, we have the group chat. Wait, because I always get it wrong. 30 parentheses 80 flirty and
How we
thriving.
feel.
Because we
How
are
we feel.
30-ish, but we act like we're 100. And so you were
Granny gang.
totally all right. Now that we've gotten through that interruption,
Good old Nora.
always. And she just wanted to be naked. She wanted clothes off, which is like the story of our life. But you started out as like the cool kid. And I mean, I guess we're still cool. We're just a different kind of crunchy cool now.
We're the better cool.
And so you got into homeschooling, and you've also joined into the homesteading club. Welcome, friend. Do you feel like they went hand in hand, that it was a natural progression, or did we totally peer pressure you into it?
I always liked that lifestyle, but I was just like, I came not from the city, but like the city suburb area, like we're right by Reading. So it was just, I'm like, I couldn't do this. Like, how can I grow my own food? Like, I knew it was a thing, but I kill plants. Okay. Like, my husband doesn't buy me flowers. I kill plants. I was like, I'm not gonna be able to grow food. Here to say, I can successfully grow tomatoes and cucumbers, and I think squash we did the 1 year. And sorry, my notifications were going off. I should probably try to mute that. But um and then I was like, ooh, let's go a little further. Let's get chickens.
Everybody needs chickens. I'm on that team.
All the chickens. All the chickens. Well, like another close friend of mine, Kayla, she had chickens, and I saw her little farms, like homestead, and our friend Danielle. And her little farm, I said farmstead, homestead.
It's the same thing. We're good.
And I saw hers, and it was just like, wow. I was like, I want to do that. I want to have that. I'm already at home. Why not? Like and like, especially with like the pandemic and wanting to be able to provide for my family, because I wasn't working at the time. One way or another, other outside being like a housewife and stuff, like I wanted to make sure that we had things, or that we were able and capable of doing things. Gosh, God forbid something happens.
Right.
So a lot of that peer pressure, and just being amongst other like amazing women who already are like that prepping.
Yeah.
And just being knowledgeable. So even though I knew I was like probably going to fail about everything, you fail at least once till you get it again. Haven't failed the chickens yet. All still are alive.
Including Carl. Including Carl.
Combat Carl.
Who is her rooster, by the way? We're clearly friends and very regularly. So let me fill you in on that. That would be her crazy rooster. Combat Carl.
And who my husband agreed for me to get the chickens. He's like, but I'm not taking care of them. He was like, that's all you. He's like, I don't do chickens. Mind you, he's a hunter, and he butchers his own meat and all that other stuff. He has no issues with animals. He's like, I just don't want to deal with chickens. And I'm like, it's all on me. Got it.
Fair enough.
So last year we hatched. I think we had 10 eggs, only 4 hatched out of it. Well, out of those 4, we didn't have them sexed. So as they were growing, that's how we found out Karen was a Carl. And then my husband named him Combat Carl, and it's just been the running joke ever since. So, but yeah, that's my current endeavor with homesteading.
Yeah.
I can't really do much more because animal wise, because we have in our borough, we can't have livestock, which I think is lame. Yes. Not right now. Borough doesn't allow livestock. So my chickens don't actually reside with me right now. They're actually up at my friend Kayla's house. She had an extra coop, and she was like, well, if you still want them for your family, she's like, you could just use the coop. Like I'm not gonna have that many chickens, even though she got more. So if she listens to this, Kayla, she got more chickens.
Chicken math is a real problem.
It is. And she's like, I'm not going to have a whole lot of room. So you might have 2 or 3 more in your pen that you can have for yourself. And I was like, say less. Say less. I will love them all. Um, so yeah, I would really like goats, and I really want like two little fluffy cows. But
Oh my
thank you,
gosh.
Laurel Borough. Can't do that right now. So
I do not understand how we live in Pennsylvania, which is like a
Amish.
major, not even that, just a major agricultural state to begin with, and how there's just so many regulations on that. And when we were house hunting last year, our agent, she has a giant mastiff, and then her neighbors have like 3 German shepherds. And she was helping a client like in the same area where she lives, and they weren't going to be allowed to have chickens. And the township's reasoning was because of like handling their waste. And she goes, excuse me, I have a mastiff and my neighbors have 3 German shepherds. There is nobody checking on what is happening to that waste. And I'm fairly certain that our 4 dogs create way more waste than 3 chickens would. So make it make sense.
So not only that, but chicken waste actually can get composted and re-put in your soil and is better for your yard
Yes.
than dog waste.
Yes. It,
And I was like, if it would come to where, oh, you couldn't have roosters, I would understand that. Would I
right.
be very sad to displace my lovely Carl? Yes. But I would find him a suitable home. Honestly, he'd probably stay up at Kayla's. So as of now, we're just making our home, not that it's not livable, but how we
Right.
want to be in it for a while. And actually, like, we're figuring out how we're gonna put a fence up so that our dogs, and we're gonna put a dog door in so that they have more free range. We just got a huge swing set and invested in one. I really wish we would have invested a little bit more money into the nicer Amish made ones, but we'll
You
upgrade
can
and
always add
whatever.
on.
Yes. So, I just meant quality wise so that
Yeah.
it wasn't so like cheaply made. But it does, I mean, it'll serve us for at least a couple of years. So, and my kids go outside. Ella like darts out the door and I'm like, where are you going? And there she is on the swing set. So I'm like, it's fine. So now we're like slowly just making it our little nook
Yeah.
on the corner in Laureldale.
Yeah.
So
Have you been able to marry your homeschooling and homesteading? Like, how involved are the kids with doing those things with you?
so Ava is not very involved, and I wish she would be a little bit more involved, as especially like with the gardening aspect of it. Um, but Ella and Oliver and like Parker will grow. She has no choice. She's gonna be growing up, and she's gonna be like a little chicken wrangler
Yeah.
and stuff. But Oliver will slip on his cowboy boots or his rain boots, and he goes head in to go like hug Carl and has no fear, none. And I'm like, buddy, you can't leave the door open. I'm not playing chase the chicken. Okay.
Right.
And Ella just helped me the other night. I think it was like, I don't know, 9:15, 9:30, and I'm starting seedlings. And she's there scooping up dirt. And she's like,
Yep.
no, let's do this. And I'm like, her and Oliver are my hands in. And Ava's just like, I'm too pretty for this.
I'm too cool. She's
I'm
also
too cool.
super smart, but she's also for sure cooler than we will ever be. So it's fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's so fun when we are able to mix those two things together. I was just talking to our neighbor as a retired kindergarten teacher, and we're friends on Facebook. She knows that we homeschool and stuff. And as I've been doing yard work the last few days, oh my gosh, the amount of worms that we have dug up and the amount of wiggly worms, they're not just worms, they're wiggly worms, conversations that we have had in the last few days. Or like our neighbor gave us a whole pile of daffodils. She has a number of varieties, and she's like, oh, I thought it would be fun for the girls to like look at them and look at the different things. And I brought them in and I put them in a jar, and we were looking at them at dinner, and Athena goes, oh, we can study them, like. And it was just funny because that's exactly what the neighbor gave them to us for, but I didn't say
Yeah.
it. Athena just naturally was like,
Put the
we can
connection
study them.
there.
we can compare and contrast this. And it's a lot of fun to see how much they absorb. I mean, they really
Mhm.
are like little plants. Like they just, as soon as I stick them outside and we are tangibly doing the things, they know everything. Don't ask Athena her ABCs. We're working on it, but she can name you and identify different birds. The other day, Eleanor saw a female cardinal. Okay, now female cardinals are like brown.
Yeah.
They look like a cardinal, but they're brown and they have the orange beak. And Eleanor, who's 2.5, goes, "Look, it's a cardinal." How many 2.5-year-olds can not just identify a cardinal, but know that it's a
A
female cardinal
female.
that looks nothing like your typical red cardinal? Uh,
Right.
so it's always just fun to talk to other moms who are not just homeschooling, but are also doing the naturey, homesteady, growing thing.
I really wanted to do more naturey things, and like we tried this one curriculum for like American birds, and I think it was just a lot. And I need to get better at least pre-planning and putting together resources that are a little bit more entertaining, because like if it doesn't catch my kids' attention, they're like, where like Athena and Callie are like birds, 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 birds,
Callie,
trees, this, all of it. And I'm like,
listen,
I wish
I'm
my kids were
not.
like that. And they can be if something is presented to them like in a fun way. And
Yeah.
it's just so funny because I'm like, I want to be this nature wild and free mom. And I'm like, you were just gonna have to put a twist to it because my kids
Yeah.
are wild.
And for everybody listening, we are part of Wild and Free. We're part of like an official Wild and Free chapter, not a pretend one, which is a whole other thing. Uh, and that is how we've uh, met and connected with a lot of other crazy moms like ourselves. And it's a lot of fun because
Mhm.
for a long time, I kind of felt like a loner. Um, I guess not a loner, but just wasn't sure where to find the resources and like build that community. And so when one of my best friends, Melly, started posting about this wild and free thing, which started in 2020, I was like, these are my people. And you guys
Who
have,
made it? Who all started it with my best friend Jess.
you guys, we are like, I just think we have such a great group of women, like you were saying, that we're all like in the same boat and in various stages. Like obviously for you, Ava's a little older, but then you do have Parker and Oliver. And so we're in that boat together.
Yeah.
Um, but then we have friends like Jess and Melly who are a little ahead of where we are that have kind of walked paths. And so it's just become such a great community of support for all of us
Yeah.
to, hey, this is working, this is not working, also seed swapping, because we like low key, yeah, we homeschool, but we all have so much in common that it's so nice.
I love that it really thrives and like dives in for like that whole mother culture
Yeah.
thing and like finding your like group. And it took a while. Like don't get me wrong, like I have my best friends, and now like as you grow and like I have like new best friends, and I say best friends, but it's more like a sisterhood
Yeah.
and whatnot. And it was like hard finding, like, because I am not the go out and partier. I would rather be home or doing things with my family over going and like going out drinking and to bars and stuff like that, where a lot of girls and people our age are doing right now because they either don't have kids because we are just the crazy ones that decide to have all kids before 30, um or are just having kids and they have like itty bitty babies. And
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, no, I'm a homebody. I'm a homebody with my people. Like, have a mom's day where you just either drink coffee, maybe occasional wine, if you like wine, but
Yeah.
coffee, and let your kids go
Ham.
bonkers
Yeah.
for
I
hours.
I love the intentionality of, I think our group especially on that mother culture thing. Um And I love that we're just so honest about like, hey, I really want to get together with you, but I do not feel like peopling today.
Hmm.
And that's just our thing. Like, and there's just that mutual understanding, and we're like, yo, we get
But
it.
then we'll have like 80 thread conversations on Messenger.
We are for sure that friend group that has like the messenger conversation going, the text message conversation going, the Instagram message going. We have
All about different topics,
the
same
three
people.
conversations always running. And I think, like you said, you need to have those people. And, you know, I feel like different friend groups sounds inauthentic or disingenuous.
Hmm.
But the flip side of that is, you know, like we don't go to church together, which is fine. Like we live an hour apart. We wouldn't.
Yeah.
So like for sure, I have my church friends and that support group, and there is absolutely crossover. One of my really good friends from church, she also homeschools. And so there's crossover there. It's just not necessarily the same circle.
Yeah.
So I totally understand what you mean, but you're like, I have my best friends, but it's just like this group sisterhood.
Hmm.
Um, and it's definitely made homeschooling a lot more fun, I think. One of the things that I love about your kids too, especially Ava, because she is one of the quote unquote older ones, um, is just how well the kids all interact with each other.
No
And
matter the age group.
no matter the age group. And I know that I've talked about this in posts, and you and I and Rachel, we've had this conversation that we don't have issues with our kids going places and playing with other children that are younger or older than them,
Hmm.
because that's just kind of the natural for them. They're used to playing in groups of mixed ages. And
But homeschoolers are not socialized.
we are so unsocial. I mean, we did just sit here and talk about how we'd rather be at home, so it's fine. Um,
But you put us in public, and you'd never think that we were homebodies.
right. We were just at a birthday party a few weeks ago, and I was keeping an eye on Eleanor because we're in that like violence is the answer stage.
Oh, we love that.
We love
We
that.
love that.
And
We
the
love it.
parents were like, your girls are just playing so nicely. I'm like, well, that's good, because usually we've got WWE wrestling happening. So it's nice to know that we do know how to behave in public. But it's so true. I mean, you and I were both public schooled. Probably explains a lot about us. We're about as weird as it gets
Especially the
socially,
especially the school district that we came from.
socially inept and awkward, like picket. And I feel like my kids are so much further ahead than I ever was socially. Like they
Mhm.
go, not that like church is the only thing that we do, but like they go to church and they just talk to people.
Oh
And
yeah.
I've
My
had
kids talk to
parents,
people in the grocery store, and I'm just like, "Uh,
yeah,
like come here.
you can't just talk to everybody. Just
Don't get
because
off that cart."
did I tell you about Athena, what she told the people that work at the zoo?
That
Did we
she was a
talk
part
about
of
that?
the zoo? No, you didn't. I don't unless you said it and I missed reading it.
Bro, we have membership at Zoo America in Hershey, and they have links. And the links are super cool, but their whole enclosure is a litter box, basically. Like their lynxes, they're outdoor cats. And it smells to high heaven, like cat urine.
Mm.
And we were leaving
I
one
don't have
day.
cats.
You're not missing anything. We were leaving one day, and she goes up to the people working there and is like, excuse me, I have something to tell you. You need to get the kitties a litter box because they smell. Just they smell really bad. You need to get them a litter box and clean it.
Athena.
And I'm just sitting there going,
That's
yep,
my
that's my
kid.
kid.
All right.
We've got to share everything, every thought.
That or there's just the blatant honesty, which is great.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'm like, especially when you're in public and and someone's mentioning something politically, and then your kid's like, well, I don't like so and so. And I'm like, "Ooh."
We're just gonna pretend. I have no idea where my child heard that from.
Oh, I gotta really limit that TV.
Which we also, oh, let's talk about that a little bit, because you and I, we've, our friend group in general, we have had multiple discussions about TV and technology and screens and the
It
struggle
is.
with,
It is a battle. It is a battle, especially coming up in such a high tech world. And it's good and it's evil. And I fight with my 11-year-old right now. She got her own phone, and she has gotten into some situations. Nothing that was like scary, or but it
yeah,
was just not something I was comfortable with, and it's hard trying to explain to her why, and not feeling like, and because she went through this whole thing where she didn't think I trusted her. I was like, it's not that I don't trust you. I
yeah,
just don't want you to see things that are not for your level in mind to see.
yeah. You
And
don't
and it
trust other
goes,
people.
what?
You don't trust other people.
I don't trust. I trust. I don't trust nobody. Mm-mm. I don't care if Susie Q 59 exclamation point on your chat room for Roblox says that she's a little girl. No, she ain't. In my mind, no, she ain't.
Yeah.
Susie Q's probably a 40-year-old man. Anyway, um, but and it happened with Pinterest, and I gave her Pinterest because I was like, oh, she's just looking up styles. No,
You're like
apparently
the
there's like,
safer one.
I thought it was. And then here she's having these conversation chat rooms because they're like, she's like, oh, share my pin, yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, nope, mm-mm, nope. Because all I think of is flashback to middle school, pre high school, and AIM chat rooms. No.
Zanga.
Ooh. Someone I was talking to, this is the ADHD brain of mine, pop into to Zanga. They're like, I don't remember that. And I was like, that was like pre MySpace coding. You could not ask me to do that right now.
Nope.
Tell me how we learned that then.
I don't.
Like I couldn't, like, you couldn't even for like pre my like beginning of MySpace, and how
Yeah.
you could set your background and the flashy little glitter icon thingies. And I'm thinking to myself, I remember like copying and pasting things, but from where?
I have no idea. But we struggle with like we have the iPad, and we have the Good and the Beautiful app and Duolingo ABC. And even just with those two educational apps, and even TV, I mean, Athena is 5 and change and Nora is 2.5. And they're pretty good. Like Athena by choice turned on Good Eats with Alton Brown today. Like she wanted to watch cooking. Or A Taste of History on Prime is really good too. But then you have the days where they're like, I want to watch Pop and Rock, or I want to watch Tangled. And it's like, I don't want to fight you if you want to watch good things. But also you can't sit in front of the TV all day, because
Mm-hmm.
Athena would totally couch potato. But also
My
you're
kids too.
watching educational things.
I feel like there's just a balance, but it's like it's always like, and what makes me angry about it is like when I want to turn it off and then they fight me on it. And I'm like, I literally just let you veg for no mom guilt here for like 2 hours watching your little kitty shows
Yep.
because I was trying to have a warm cup of coffee and clean up the kitchen without mop, 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 mop. And I'm like, okay, now it's time to turn it off. And it's Meltdown World War 507 because I turned the TV off. And I'm like, and then it's like I try to ban it. And then they use their smaller siblings. They're like, oh, well, we were just going to put this like the next day or 2 days later. They're like, and the TV's on. And I'm like, well, first off, I took the remote. I found
Yeah.
it. And I'm like,
That's what Athena does.
I took
Everyone
it,
likes to watch Storybots. Yeah, okay.
but you don't have it. You can't take it back. And they're like, well, we wanted to put something on for Parker. And I'm like, I don't think Parker wants to watch the Thundermans.
She does not have the words.
Mm-mm. She can probably say Bluey and yes and no. I mean, she says quite a few words, but in correlation to giving you what she wants to watch, Bluey is your best bet.
Right.
And I'm like, give me the remote. And then I have to alligator tackle my kids because they literally think holding on to it, not that their 200-pound mother isn't going to get it out of their grip.
It's like, can you just hand it over nicely? It's like a dog. Just
And Ava
it
does
out.
that with her phone. And I'm like, it's not phone time right now. And she's like, well, why? And it's the why. And I'm like, because it's not phone time right now, but you're on your phone. And I'm like, I'm an adult. But also, yes, I'm an adult.
Everything's fun.
I love parenting. It is my favorite job.
It is. I think you crush it. You do. The fact that you have 4 kids and you're homeschooling and doing all of the things is just one of the many reasons why I think you're so cool and why I love you. Other than the fact that we also share the same sense of humor, and are probably like low-key terrible humans, but that's okay. Not really terrible humans, but you catch my drift. But we are coming to the end here. And so since this is called Let's Have a Cuppa, where we grab a cuppa with our friends every week, Sydney, what is your favorite thing to have in your mug? What's your favorite cuppa?
Coffee. I like tea too, though. So it's both coffee and tea. Coffee is like my morning time. And then tea is like if I've had too much coffee, but who says too much coffee is too much coffee? Although this is my first cup that I've had in probably like a week and a half, 2 weeks, because neurovirus can go. Thanks.
Oh yeah, you guys, that should be like another episode on surviving stomach flus with a family. But for your coffee, do you add flavors or do you just do like black? Like how do you make it?
With creamer. We have French vanilla right now. But I normally I'm not a heavy creamer person. I can't have it overly sweet, but I haven't found a good coffee other than, that whoopie pie
The
one
whoopie pie that I owe you.
you don't owe me, but I still want.
There is for everybody listening, I will put it in the show notes. Lancaster County Coffee Roasters has an incredible coffee. It is whoopie pie flavored. If you don't know what a whoopie pie is, I can't help you there, but it's amazing. And you can pretty much drink it black or even with just a splash of cream because the flavor's so good. And God bless Sydney, who left her husband with their children to come help us paint after we moved in. And I was like, I got you a bag of coffee. That was 6 months ago. We'll get together. I'll bring it to you and we have our pierogi and
That got rescheduled because we all think at time management.
we're like, are we doing this tomorrow? No, no, we are
I'm
not.
just getting over being sick. Really don't want to look at food.
So we're going to do pierogies, and I think we figured July was the next time that the 3 of us were gonna make it work. The next time we do a podcast, it will be with Rachel because that's where the real chaos is.
She's comical. I want to be a part of that. Can we do like a 3-way?
I just said it's the 3 of us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Although now that you're getting your own episode, she might have to get her own episode, and then we can have a group episode, and it'll be fine. That's how we'll do this. So, Sydney, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Great to chat with you. Always love hearing about the shenanigans. And I will put your Instagram in the show notes for people who would like to follow you raising 4 wildlings. Did you see what I do there? I like it. That's her Instagram handle. So thank you guys. Have a wonderful week. Thank you for joining us, and tune in next week for our first episode, or our next episode, not our first episode. Can't keep track. Bye.